Welcome back to a unorthodox episode of the Edmo Show. How are you all doing? I know I typically don't make episodes on Sundays, um, but it might be a habit that I might start doing. I might have to start cracking these things out, whenever the mood strikes and all this other stuff. But I wanted to make a quick video, not as long as our typical videos. I'm probably gonna make this like a separate thing, like what's on my mind or some things that kind of catch my attention because trying to do stories is it takes a lot, especially when you're doing this by yourself. So um and plus I just love y'all so much. I love talking to y'all, or I love hearing from y'all. So but what we got today is a clip from TikTok. So and before I move on, but the interesting thing is, whenever I hear stories, it's like, damn, I could make a video about that. Damn, I can make a video about that. Or man, I should probably talk about that. Or people will send me stuff and then they'll say, hey, can you talk about this? Can you talk about that? And then sometimes like I've already got videos planned for the Monday show, for the Wednesday show. Of course, the Bible series, that's pretty much self-planned in and of itself. So it's like kind of making these videos impromptu is kind of, I'll probably start doing them um whenever I get something or I see something. They're probably not going to be the standard 45 minutes to an hour episode. They're probably just going to be quicker stuff. I'm not entirely sure. Matter of fact, uh yeah, cuz I like I said, I'm trying to work on doing TikToks and all this other stuff, but since we're on the subject of TikTok, I got a clip from TikTok, and given everything that is going on in the world right now, I felt like I just had to talk about it. I felt like, I have to. I don't know. Some people say it's probably low self impulse control or whatever. Whatever. Screw you. I'm enjoying my life right now. So, this video right here, it's from Jubilee's.
People today
Crap.
are too
It started too early. So this is a clip from Jubilee's TikTok. If you guys don't know, Jubilee's, on YouTube, they're the ones that they get these people, they ask them certain questions, and then they pair them up together. They do it several different ways where, they'll ask a question. If you agree, come to the stage, explain your reasonings. Of course, it's heavily edited and all types of other stuff. That's not a bad thing on them because, you know, I they're probably there for hours, and they probably have the excuse you, Studio Cat, so rude. But they probably try to, fit everything in. But let's go ahead. The question is, are young people too sensitive? And the reason why I'm bringing this up now is because I've been having this theme of strong men make good times make weak men make strong time. I mean, make hard times, and then the cycle keeps perpetuating. Of course, what we're seeing right now in Europe is Russia has encroached on Ukraine, and I'm not making any comments about what the president's doing, not doing, and all this other stuff. But one thing I will say is how, just recapping on the last 4 years under Donald Trump's presidency, we all know Putin's been trying to get the USSR back together. Of course, could he have done it during Trump's administration? Yeah, but the thing about Trump's administration, and Trump as a person, he was unpredictable, and which is what I liked in the president. He was unorthodox as far as American politics go. And I believe that unorthodox nature, that, which you can probably say alpha boss, New York mobster type nature, worked in his favor because, Trump doesn't need to kiss anyone's ass or whatever. In fact, he put it out plainly and bluntly, like, we're paying all this money. Y'all should be kissing our ass. Hell, y'all should be paying. You gonna pay what you owe. And a lot of people got so upset about that. But now we're seeing the backlash when we don't have strong, maybe bombastic, maybe a little bit rub against the grain type people, but it's leaders like those who push people, groups, organizations, nations, communities forward. They're not the ones that's going to lay down and take it, and shout out to the Ukrainian president. I'm seeing pictures of him, in a jacket and flak jackets, talking about, yeah, we're going to give y'all guns to help us fight the Russians off. To me, like, now it's time, at least in the Ukraine, it's time for strong men to step up, and they're actually doing that. So shout outs to that president, and the fact that he was offered retreat and he says, no, screw that. No, I'm not leaving. This is no, I'm staying. And he's fighting it out. So I'm going to go. And the reason why I'm going into with that mindset is people are sensitive today, and just recapping off of the Trump administration, people were sitting here saying, oh, you can't tell people that they're illegal. There's no such thing. Borders are made up. You can't illegally invade a country. We need to bring in, when this is when we're allowing the border crisis, which is still going on. Nobody's talking about it. We need to allow them into our country because we stole this country from them. And like, as if you guys weren't hip to the Bible series that I did, we talked about that. You don't sit here and you make excuses, or you side with the poor, or you side with people who have ill intentions and all this other stuff. You don't do that. What you do is you hear people out. And if you want to help the poor, that's what you do. But you don't break the law or adjust the law to help someone just because of their condition. So, but now what we're seeing is you got all these liberals, all these leftists, all these, laissez-faire people sitting here. They're so mad. How can Russia do that? How can Russia invade Ukraine? Well, just a couple years ago, y'all were talking about, y'all weren't saying that when the illegal aliens, and the reason why I'm saying illegal aliens, because one, they weren't all Mexican. A lot of them came from the Middle East. A lot of them were coming from Africa. A lot of them were coming from Asia. The news just wasn't reporting on it. The news wasn't talking about that. They were trying to paint the narrative that it's all Mexicans, it's all Guatemalans, it's all Hondurans and El Salvadorians. No, that was not the case. So it's right because they're coming from a third world country, encroaching military age men coming into America. We're not supposed to have borders or border policy, but Russia, a white nation, invading another white nation, Anyway, let's go ahead and start this clip.
Young people today are too sensitive.
I'm gonna stop this right here. My answer is yes. Young people are too damn sensitive.
They're trying to make it so a man can't be a man.
So let's go back. If you guys didn't notice, let's go ahead. I'm trying to move this thing backwards. So over here, you got liberal teens, and then you have conservative parents. Listen to the tenor of their voice and watch the body language and listen to what both sides are saying.
Sensitive.
So here you got a black dad and ripped up jeans, Nikes, backwards ball cap. He ain't playing. Like he's a regular dude. You got two white men. You got one who probably looks like he's between the ages in his mid 30s to 40s, and then you got an elderly white man. Somehow they're painting them as conservatives, but
they're
whatever.
Trying to make it so a man can't be a man. And if you don't let men be men, then things start crumbling. Society.
And that's why if you guys listen to what he just said, that's why I referenced Ukraine. That's why I'm referencing this crisis that's going on over in Europe with Russia trying to get back the USSR. Modern society is trying to get rid of men, and I'm not going to sit here and drag out the list, but what I will say is you have welfare programs that are, excuse me, that is studio mutts, but you do have, you have policies to where women can only receive welfare assistance if the man is not in the home. That doesn't benefit the children. It doesn't benefit anyone. But yet these women still keep finding a way to get pregnant. And the government, the people, keep funding this. You keep subsidizing this. Society has made it more beneficial for women to get a payday off of a divorce versus a man where you got to prove way too much to even get looked at the same, to even get your case handled the same. We have a social media culture where they're sitting there talking about toxic masculinity. When one, these people don't even understand what toxic masculinity is. They think, oh, because you're a bro or because you're a man and you speak your mind and you're not willing to kowtow to these studio mutts. I swear, I'm gonna have hot dogs today. Um, it's like you're silenced if you're a man. You cannot correct someone for their debaucherous behavior. It's live and let live at the expense of you. So let's go ahead and keep playing.
Make it so a man can't be a man. And if you don't let men be men, then things start crumbling. Society crumbles, families crumble.
And sorry, he says societies crumbles and families crumble. And that's 100% true. That is 100% true.
Broken homes start happening.
And kids need their fathers. So 36% of kids don't have a father. So every boy is, well, my mom is mad at me, my dad don't love me, my dad don't care about me. Maybe I should be gay, maybe I should be trans.
Now, I probably won't go to that logic, but I see how he's getting to that point. If you look at today's society, and I grew up in the 90s. When I was in high school, it wasn't really cool to be the gay kid. Now, when I was in high school, yeah, I started seeing that it was becoming more accepted, but you wanted to keep your personal. If you were gay, you did not want to talk about your sexuality at all. But what I did start seeing was a shift in women. It was more accepting for a woman to be a lesbian or bisexual. And 9 times out of 10, what was the average teenage girl's excuse? Oh, because I was hurt by some boy. Some boy cheated on me. Some boy did this. Or some boy only got with me because of sex. But then they get with females and it's the exact same thing. So, but if you look at it, he's talking about the main point of, you're not feeling this love, this attention, this acceptance from your parents. So what you start doing is you start doing this self-love, and then people create communities for all this self-love and acceptance, even though your self-love and your acceptance is very toxic. Even though your self-love and self-acceptance is very backward. And the reason why I say this, look at all these gay couples. Look at all, whether they're lesbian or gay. You have a lot of gay couples that are out here sitting there saying, I want a child. Well, the only way you can have a child is if you have sex. Oh my goodness, these studio must hold, please. Had to use a dad bark. So, you're seeing all these backward points of view, and where oh well, and it's all because of single motherhood. Because if they're saying, well, a woman doesn't need a man, the father's not important. They've relegated men to money. So the fact that now just being present is adequate to having a child. You see 2 lesbians get together, 2 gay men, they'll adopt a child, but they're ignoring the ingredients. That's like you're trying to make a cake and you're trying to put other ingredients and you're calling it a cake at the end. It's not a cake, or, oh, big one, especially because I'm a comic book nerd. They try to say, well, Bruce Wayne was adopting young boys. And then come on. They try to throw anything on the wall to see if it sticks. They're trying to say, well, obviously, they get these beta male simps or these beta male dudes who never grew up around a man or a father, not boys, not males, because trust me, there's a lot of there's a lot of males in the hood. There's a lot of males in low income communities, because how else are these women getting pregnant? So there are males in these communities. However, they're not men. I swear. But so they're seeing males, but they're not seeing men. They're not seeing fathers. They're not seeing an actual man of authority and principle in their homes, because what will happen is the moment a man with principle, one, if he does decide he wants to deal with one of these backward women, she's not going to allow him to be the man that he really is. You know, you'll hear things like, oh, the question of, well, if a man marries you, can he discipline your children? She's like, no, those are my kids. But yet you want his money, but yet you want his protection, but yet you want his resources, and he cannot discipline or groom the children who he is ultimately financially and legally responsible for, because he is now technically their guardian. So you want him to be a nutless man. So now you got these men being groomed by their fathers, being groomed by their mothers, and shout out to what is his name? Jesse Lee Peterson. He says when you're groomed by your mother, your mother can. Daggone mutt. But yeah, so you're adopting the feminine, you're adopting your mother's spirit. So now you got these dudes out here, and now what we're seeing in society is that homosexuality is like, it is so accepted that you can't just be gay anymore. And that's the issue. It's no longer cool to be gay or lesbian. Now you got to be gender non-conforming. You got to be trans. You got to be all this other stuff, and it starts with a broken foundation. Continue.
I don't know who I am, and your father puts confidence in you. No disrespect to anybody, but the younger generation of men are soft, and if we had to go to war, they're not protecting America. There's no better place to be as a black individual or whatever you are in America. Go to the Middle East right now and say you gay or you trans and see how they treat you.
Idea that
Exactly. You go anywhere else around the world and you tout this whole, well, I'm gay, accept it, I'm bi, accept it, I'm lesbian, accept it, and they'll be like, oh, okay. Would you like to step to the campfire? They're not playing that. In Muslim countries, they ain't playing that. In most third world countries, they are not playing that, because the issue is homosexuality. I'm not talking biblically. I'm talking medically. It is just not conducive. It's not, you cannot survive that because of all the bacteria, of all the trauma, the physical trauma, it's not conducive. It's not natural. So versus a woman who is built for a man's penis, it is, a vagina is self-cleaning, as most feminine like to tell me. They like to say, oh, well, a vagina is great because it cleans itself. Well, a butthole doesn't. And you can actually get sick if you rupture your butthole. So again, and I'm not throwing Bible in this. I'm just throwing pure, like, facts. It's unclean. And then on top of that, a lot of these third world countries, they have men around, and 9 times out of 10, a lot of these men have a lot of women. So now let's listen to this liberal teen explain today's society. One, she's a teenager. What the fuck does she know?
Because men are being raised by women, that they're weaker is, in my opinion, completely false.
Listen, that she tries to pose the question, oh, men that are raised by women are inherently weaker. She's going to contradict herself later. But yes, men who are raised by women are significantly weaker, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually weaker. Most men who have children out of wedlock had an absent father, or they had a weak father. Look at it. Most men who have children, multiple children out of wedlock, either did not have a man in the home, or their father was not a man in the house. Their father was not the authority. Their father was not the head of the household. They deferred to the mother. The mother was the one that set the rules. The mother was the one that set the standard. So, and what was mommy doing? Mommy was trying to groom the son to be the husband that she always wanted. She wanted the husband that was more controllable than the father. The father was more of a financial marriage versus the son is an emotional marriage. She is married to her son because some of these women, they think, oh, well, no one's going to love me more than my son, yada, yada, yada. My son loves me, my son. And then you'll get these arguments where who's supposed to sit in the front seat, your wife or your mother? My wife. First of all, why is my mother even saying anything? You know, now I won't allow my wife to disrespect my mother, but at the same time, I won't allow my wife to disrespect I won't allow my mother to disrespect my wife, because my wife and I are one. So if you disrespect my wife, you're disrespecting me. Same thing. If you disrespect your mama and you had a man in the house and you had a father in the house, whether it was your biological father or not, he would knock your dick into the dirt. I remember one time, and this is personal, I got into an argument with my stepmother. Now, of course, I was in the right, but I was being very disrespectful about it. My dad knocked me the hell out. Because, again, that's his wife. His wife is an extension of him. Thankfully, he's no longer married to her. But I'm just saying, your wife is an extension of you as a man. You and your wife are one. So, and these, Lord, let's continue.
Our generation, it's not more sensitive. We're more aware of all these things.
You're not more aware. You're not more aware. You're not. You just got what you have is you have a lack of control. You have a lack of filtration, because the social media is allowing you to get pumped, and you're getting too much dopamine in. You don't know when to filter these things out and learn not to deal with it. You know, why else would someone in DC care about what's going on in Minneapolis versus back in the day? Unless it was such a serious, heinous issue, you wouldn't hear about it unless it was something national. You know, I'm telling you, back in the 1950s, you wouldn't hear about a George Floyd in Florida or New York. You wouldn't hear about it. That would be a local story. But the issue with social media and the internet now, it's so much information all the time that people cannot filter it out anymore. They don't know when to just let stuff go, but instead they make everything their problem when it has nothing to do with you. It doesn't impact you one way or another, but because you can't control your dopamine hits, you're upset. You're in your feelings now.
Being transgender and gay is not something that should be ashamed of or make you feel less in today's society. That is why women are.
So she says being transgender or gay is something that you shouldn't have to feel less about. Okay, here's how she contradicts herself with that statement. If you are claiming to be transgender, you are ashamed of the gender that you were born as. If you're not ashamed to be gay, why are you trying to imitate heterosexual norms, i.e., marriage and children? If you're not ashamed, what you're trying to do is you're trying to take your shame and then try to morph the world around you to make your shame normalized. Again, this shit ain't real. This shit is so bad for you. And again, I have gay friends and I tell them, hey, whatever you do in the privacy of your own home is your business. However, don't bring your business over into my house. Don't make your problem my problem. But again, what do we see from the LGBTQ movement? Oh, we need to have gay rights. Well, what are gay rights? What rights do gay people not have that everyone else have? Well, marriage. Marriage ain't a right for anybody. So what other things? You know, so if you listen to these gay rights activists, nothing that they say is a right. It's not, people don't even understand what rights are. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to use their feelings and try to use the words rights to justify them. But again, back to her. If you did not feel shame, why are you trying to make your shame normal? You're trying to make gay marriage normalized. You're trying to make gay people imitate heterosexual lifestyles, i.e. a mother and a father in raising a child. You're trying to say, oh, well, a two-parent gay household is just as good, if not better, at raising children. No, it's not. Because that child ain't getting sugar, spice, and everything nice. They're getting straight sugar. They're not getting all the ingredients that the body needs. They're not getting the man and female dynamic. They're getting a man and a man dynamic. They're not getting opposites. They're not getting duality. They're getting same, but different.
are fighting for equality because this idea that because they only have a mom, they're weaker, or because, you know, they're more sensitive, that's, in my opinion, completely false.
And I would say in the environment that I grew up in, the teen pregnancies come from girls without fathers. The homicides come from people without fathers. Every girl that I know, if they grow up with a daddy, they get married before they have a kid.
Why do they not have fathers?
If you want me to
And why do they not have fathers? And you hear what in that tone of voice. Now I'm just speculating here. He's probably trying to set the terrain to white supremacy and racism and all this other stuff. But homeboy's about to answer his question for him.
be real, because a lot of women make bad choices on the men they procreate with. If you make a bad choice, that's your responsibility. Every bad thing that
Boom, boom, boom. Oh my God, boom, in your freaking face. Yes, these women are out here making bad decisions. They're out here selecting the wrong men. And you hear that all the time. Like, hell, you go on Kevin Samuel's show. You go on any of these shows. And what if these women have the same cookie cutter answer? I was wilding out in my youth. I was doing me. I was partying. I just happened to get pregnant. Then I was this dude, this dude, this dude. And then, but one thing that they don't understand is, or they don't see, is you keep messing with Pookie and Ray Ray and them. And these Pookies and I'm not just making this a black thing, white girls too, because they got Chads and Brads. What is it? The Latinos, they got Hectors and Jose's. You know, they got you got these character types. These women want to keep going out for these bad boys, but when these bad boys leave them high and dry and dusted and they pregnant, but then they keep messing with these dudes. They keep messing with the same dudes. And then they're trying to make it everyone else's fault. They're trying to make it everybody else. Well, it's men's fault because men need to learn how to not cheat and do this. No, bitch, stop messing with the men that do cheat. Stop messing with the men that with the face tattoos and the rap sheets. You know the characteristics. You know what it takes. You know what you're looking at. But yet you want an adventure. That's what you want. You want an adventure without consequences.
I did in my life, it was when my daddy was in jail. When my dad was out and I had my dad's reassurance, I was a better person.
I had one daughter that had to move across the country to get rid of a toxic relationship with somebody that was harming them.
Why does the woman have to move across the country because the man...
Okay. This little girl was groomed in feminism. Why does the woman have to leave? Why does she have to move across the country? Because that's what's best for you. You can't control other people. So what do? You take control into your hands. Like that's what these people don't seem to understand nowadays. Why should I have to inconvenience me? Why can't they inconvenience them? You know, if this goofy little trick does not stop with this nonsense, why does the woman have to leave? Because that's what's best for her. She got to leave. She can't control them. She can't be accountable for them. So she got to control what she can, which is herself, her 2 feet, her body. She got to get up and move somewhere else. That's a better environment. And that's the problem with these women in these low economic standing communities. I don't care if it's the hood or the trailer park. These women don't leave. They don't leave. How the hell do you keep having child after child after child, and yet you don't leave? Tyshawn Lee's mom. I can't stand that woman. How in the hell does your baby get killed in the streets, used as an ashtray, and then you start a GoFundMe, and then what do? You don't leave. You don't get your kids out. What you do? She got a car with the money from the GoFundMe. Talk about, oh, my baby would have wanted me to have a car. No, he didn't. He would have wanted you to leave. He would have wanted you to come save him. These women, like, again, why is it on the woman to leave? Because you can control you. And here's what she says. Listen to this logic.
Is being toxic. Why can't the man be taught, don't be toxic?
Oh, I agree.
Women now
Okay, all right. So, and that's the thing right there. So you're upset that the woman can control herself and leave, but yet you're sitting here saying, why can't the man control himself and not be toxic? The same rules apply. So you don't want the woman, again, no accountability for women at all. None. You are not allowed to hold women accountable in the modern day. You cannot. Because you got these little feminists in training like her, because her daddy was a weak man, her mama was over masculinized, but yet her mama submits to another man every single day. Her mom refuses to submit to her husband or her father, but she will submit to a man that signs her paychecks. And yet you got little harlots like this. Why does the woman have to leave? But why can't the man control himself? Because the woman can't control the man. You cannot control other people. All you can do is control you. But yes, I agree. Men should control themselves. But again, you have these men who are not taught self-control. Because you know why? A daddy who would put their foot in their child's ass ain't around. Or a daddy who could put his foot in a child's ass is now being governed and monitored. You can't even beat your kids. You cannot exercise corporal punishment on your child because it is looked at as abuse. You cannot, and I'm not advocating for people spanking or hitting their kids, but you cannot, as a parent, you cannot make corrective action to your children. I just heard a story, and I'm probably going to do an episode on this, or I'm probably going to mention it again later. Maryland, the state that I live in, they are now creating laws to where they're making it hard for parents to homeschool their children. They want to monitor and control how you homeschool your child. Again, you're not allowed to be a parent. You're not allowed to be a man. You're not allowed to even be a traditional woman. So you got feminists like this who want to keep shackles and rules on men, but yet let women like her run around free. And if they get into trouble, they want society to bail them out and not take responsibility for it. Continue.
With those kinds of relationships, the mother knows better, I would say, than the father about that.
No, she doesn't. The mother does not know anything. Because again, if you keep having woman after woman, having child after child with multiple men, and these men have the same character types, the same character traits, she don't know better. She don't know. Because most of these women don't mentally mature past the age of adolescence. They don't mentally mature past the age of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
More sensitive, there's just more opportunities for us.
And listen to this soy boy right here. Yes, I am saying soy boy. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get hate blocked and banned and whatever.
About that.
We're not more sensitive, there's just more opportunities for us to be sensitive.
We're not more sensitive, but there's more opportunities for us to be sensitive, i.e. we're more sensitive. Yes. We're not more sensitive, but we're allowed to be sensitive now. Trust me. I bet you people over in Ukraine, where they're like, no, stop, Putin. Stop. I need my safe space. I need my emotional support dog. Oh, why are you giving me a gun? No, fight for my freedom. No, he just needs to learn how to be more accepting and sensitive. Shut up.
You can say like 15, 20 years ago, there weren't videos of black men being shot by police
Yes,
all
there
over
were.
the internet. Now that
Yes, there were. 15, 20 years ago. Dude, it is 2022. 15 years ago was 2007. Is it right? Was it 2007? Okay, so we got 22, 15, okay. So you got yeah, that's about 2007.
that's
Bruh.
there, people are
20 years ago, it was 2002. We had the internet then. We had camera phones back then. Hell, oh my God. I remember watching Cops as a kid.
more inclined to feel a certain way or take a stance on that topic.
Take a stance. No, these kids do not take stance. They don't take an actual stance. People in Ukraine are taking a stance. That's what they're doing. People here aren't taking a stance for anything. They're just like, yes, I don't agree. And because I don't agree, I'm going to cancel you. Hell, spoiler alert, the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, loved it. Loved it. It was a crap movie, but I loved it because it showed generations like this. You got Leatherface on a bus full of a bunch of millennials and zennials, and these kids were like, you got a dude with someone's face in front of you with a chainsaw covered in blood, and you're talking about, yeah, bro, I'm canceling you. Like, the hell? And you had a girl in there that was anti-gun, but then she quickly realized when your life is on the line, guess what you're going to do? You're going to run to a gun. You're going to need that gun. That's why I loved that movie.
It would be more beneficial to show police also interacting with white guys, because more white guys get killed
Facts.
than black guys by cops.
If you look at
They
the
don't
amount
show
of white
that.
people,
Facts. White men are more likely to be gunned down or to die in police altercations than black men. The stats prove it. The stats prove. However, the media has manipulated you into thinking that, oh, black people are more likely to die by police brutality. The only reason why it feels that way is because black people are 13% of the population. And it's weird how this psychology works, because the TV and the media puts out the fact that, oh, George Floyd died strangled to death, even though George Floyd was high as a kite. What was the dude that got shot in the back 7 times? Fighting several cops with a knife. They're not going to tell you the whole facts. But that's also reinforced because you got a lot of these people living in inner cities making bad decisions, and yet higher police interaction with them, and then the two correlate. So now, but then they don't see Jim Bob getting ran down by the cops. They don't see Jim Bob standing outside his trailer talking about, oh, no, I'm not going nowhere, sitting outside with a 45 revolver getting gunned down. They don't see that. They don't see, Jethro out there like bashing his girlfriend's face in, and then the cops have to put hands on him. They don't see that. What they see is Tyrone Pookie, George Floyd, and all these other fools out here acting stupid. Oh, but it's the cops' fault. If you don't act stupid, don't start none, won't be none. That's always been my mentality. Continue.
and the amount of black people, there are going to be more white people killed because there are more white people in.
No. Don't sit here and try to use this numbers game now. No. The issue is, first, let's take race out of it. Because no one ever wants to say this. You have more men in prison than you have women. But yet no one says that's sexist. So how is it that when you see 13% of the population and then your answer is, oh, because there's more white men? No, you have men out here committing crimes. That's the answer whenever we're talking about gender differences in crime. Oh, men commit more crimes than women. That doesn't say that women don't commit crimes at all, but what it says is men on average commit more crimes. But but now we want to throw race into it. Oh, of course you're going to have white men because they're more of the population. But when it's a black man, it's injustice. No, you have men out here creating crimes, and then you have a small percentage of it that is injustice. Like, come on, not all these inmates are innocent. But you got this little feminist out here saying that.
In America, the percentage of black people that are being killed is higher
No,
than
it's
the percentage
not.
of white people.
It's not.
Just because
It's not. I forgot the stat, but what was it in 2019? 10 black men were killed by police. 10.
you're pulled over, it doesn't mean you have to resist. I mean, they don't just kill you when they pull you over. It's all about based on how you perform as an individual. I've been pulled over and never had a bad interaction in my life.
I've been pulled over too. I've been pulled over by white cops, black cops, Mexican cops. I've been pulled over by a whole bunch of people. I mean, and here, what do? Got my driver's license ready. What seems to be the problem, officer? And they're like, oh, do you know why I pulled you over? Nope. Why'd you pull me over? Oh, because you were doing 25 and you were doing what was it one? Oh, you were coming down the hill too fast. I clocked you doing 55 in a 35. Okay. Can I have your license registration? There you go. Stand by. All right. Yes, sir. I'm going to give you this ticket. Okay, I'll see you in court. Thank you. Bye-bye. Boom. Because I understand my rights. Sometimes I won the ticket, sometimes I didn't. But I'm just saying, like, it's all about how you act. If you're cool, calm, and collected, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But like they got this documentary out here recently talking about what was it? I think it's on Discovery. I forgot the name of it because I'm not watching that trash. But they referenced the soldier that got pepper sprayed, and then they try to say, oh, it's police brutality because the cop said you're gonna ride the lightning. Well, first of all, this jackwagon had a license plate taped on the inside of his vehicle with tinted windows driving at night. So to a police officer who don't see a license plate, they're gonna say, oh, This dude's driving down the street without a license plate. Let me pull him over. He drives for a mile down the road, but then he's being very difficult with the cops. Instead of inquiring why he's being pulled over, instead of being respectful, but then he trying to sit there. He got time to cut on his phone and then sit here and say, "Oh, I fear for my life." Jackass, what do you fear for your life for? Because you're being stupid. And then he gets pepper spray. "Oh, I got a dog in here." So what? So what? If had you complied and had you had some wits about you, your dog wouldn't have gotten pepper spray because you got pepper sprayed. The hell? And then guess what happened? When they saw the tag, they told the dude, "Hey, we pulled you over because we didn't see the license plate, but we see it in the window. All you had to do was just hear us out. You weren't." And then guess what? He still tried to sue the police. Anyway, that's the video. That is the video. And again, these liberal teens. First of all, you got liberal teens. Most of these kids are probably in college. They're probably getting degrees that don't matter. They're probably severely in debt. They're probably sitting here talking about healthcare should be a right. They're probably sitting here talking about $15 an hour or raise the minimum wage to a living wage, even though you are perfectly in control of your job options, your job choices, and if you accept it or not. I remember my first job after high school, because I had a job during high school. I shopped around. I was like, okay, what do I need to pay my car, pay my phone bill, and all this other stuff? Okay, did the math. All right, cool. Apply for this position. All right, $7 an hour. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. All right, and didn't take the job. Found a job that did want to hire me for $10 an hour. I took that. These people act like they don't have choice. They act like they don't have autonomy. So these feminists and these liberal teenagers are fighting a uphill wet battle. And the reason why I say it's wet is you ain't got no traction. You ain't going nowhere. But they want to sit here and vote for these politicians like Joe Biden, like Kamala Harris, like AOC, like Bernie Sanders, like the Rat Pack, and all these other hoochie mamas in the White House, or the Senate and whatever. And yes, I'm calling them hoochie mamas too. They're sitting here talking. They want these politicians to act like sugar daddies. And they want these sugar daddies to sit here and pay for stuff, but yet they don't want to put out. Come on now. We got a sugar baby society, men and women. So you got these liberal teenagers talking about yes, because we're not more sensitive, but we have more opportunity to be sensitive because we're sensitive. Oh my God. You know what my parents would have told me, my mom and my dad and my stepdad and my grandmother? Shut up. Shut up. Sit down. Stop. Think. Why are you getting upset? You got nothing to be upset about. I remember as a kid, I used to say, that gets on my nerves. My mother says, look, you ain't been through nothing yet for having anything on your nerves. She's right. At 10 years old, what nerve do you got? What nerves do you have? You don't work. You don't put food on the table. You don't pay no bills. You don't buy no clothes. You don't put gas in the car. You ain't got to wake up early in the morning to make sure you get to a job that you don't like, but because the job is necessary for you to pay your bills, put food in your belly, put food on your kids' belly, put them through school, get them good books, get them some extracurricular activities, to get them extra studies because they stupid. These liberal teenagers, first of all, you don't have the luxury of being to be liberal. You don't. Teenagers don't have the luxury to be anything. Like, I'm sorry. At 31, I've been working since I was 15. I've had a myriad of jobs. I've had to really self-evaluate. I've had to course correct. I had to change directions and all this other stuff. These people out here are retarded. And yes, I'm saying the R word. They are retarded. Because these kids, how do you have so much information, but yet you are so dumb? You are so stupid, and yet you haven't lived life yet. Their whole existence is a dopamine hit. Their whole existence is an experience. Like, I want to see what kind of vacations I want to go on. I don't want to get married. I am a strong, independent woman because I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. But yet a man, he has to do what I say. You got dudes out here sitting here saying, well, I ain't gonna get married, but I will hit though. Yeah, girl, let me hit raw. Oh, damn, you pregnant, shawty? Nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. Nah, nah. You gonna get rid of it? You gonna get rid of it? All right, cool. You wanna get rid of it? All right, you get rid of it, and I'm still gonna hit. You have a baby, I'm still gonna hit. Come on now. These people's existence is nothing but a dopamine hit because they're dumb. They don't understand anything because they ain't been through nothing, at least nothing serious, or they don't have the courage to change their situation. They don't have the courage to change their dynamic. Because one thing that I hear a lot when I visit my family or some friends that I got who are, for a lack of intensive purposes, they broke, they poor, they still living in the slums. They out here trying to scheme and scam the system. They're out here trading kids on tax exemption so that way they can get an extra check or whatever. You know, you got people out here making dumb decisions, but then when you sit here and you tell them, hey, bro, why don't you get a skill? Why don't you get a trade? Why don't you start a business or do that? See, nah, man, I ain't sitting here trying to play the white man's game as they rolling up a J. But yet, you're playing Tyrone's game down the street. You don't want to work or you don't want to challenge yourself to have more, but yet you'll do just enough so that way you can get high. You'll do just enough so that way you can get some J's on your feet. You do just enough, you'll go down to the auction, get yourself a Beamer. So that way you look like you got money, but yet you going back to that same roach-infested apartment. And you don't want to change your situation in life at all. You out here chasing a dopamine hit. And that's my one issue that I have with young men today. Everything is a dopamine hit. These dudes out here are dope heads. They're fucking dope addicts. And I don't mean dope like the drug. I mean dope like dopamine. These dudes are out here retarded for dope. Everything they do is to get a fix, a dopamine hit. They want J's on their feet because it makes them feel rich, even though J's ain't good for nothing. I'd rather spend $300 on some really good dress shoes so that way I look like I got money, so that way I can go into the job and demand a certain wage, or so that way I can be taken seriously. Or because I used to work in blue collar and I come from a blue collar family, I'd rather spend $300 or $200 on some work boots that are going to protect my feet and give me some comfort. But yet you want to spend $200, $300, $400 on some Jordans, on some Yeezys, on some limited edition Timberlands that don't do anything. I went out with some family, and one of my relatives had a man, and we're at a nice restaurant, and they had a dress policy, and the dress policy was no ripped up jeans. One, not only were you late, which pissed me off because I'm paying for this. Two, you showed up in the exact same thing I told you not to. For all that, you should have just not come. And then this Negro had the audacity to sit here and tell the manager, man, these are $1,000 jeans. I said, what did you say, nigga? What did you say? $1,000 jeans. I said, look, bro, $300 custom-made suit that fits me perfectly. $1,000 jeans. Which of us look better? Man, I don't wear that shit. That's the problem. Some of these dudes' mindsets are so and you got these liberal teens or these liberal people, and trust me, this dude's a hustler. But you's over here trying to nickel and dime, trying to make pseudo drug dealer money, and you don't even look the part. Nobody takes you seriously. I'm gonna sit here and say, oh, I spent $1,000 on jeans. So you mean to tell me you spent $1,000 on some ripped up, stained up jeans? Are you kidding me? Oh, but yeah, you got Jordans. I mean, granted, what you do with your money is your business, but don't sit here and have an attitude with the establishment for their policies and you ain't obliging. You want people to oblige you, but you ain't trying to oblige them. You want to sit here and I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about these dudes. You want these women to oblige you, but yet you don't want to do the things that it takes for someone to take you seriously. Dress like an adult, act like an adult, speak like an adult. People want to say all too often, well, it's racism out here and yada yada yada. They don't want to put the black man on. They don't want to hire the black man. But yet you don't want to make anything for yourself. You so upset about because Bill and Ted got a private country club and it's all white and you can't be invited. But yet you won't go out and start your own country club to where you can control the clientele, to where you could tell Bill and Ted, hey, we appreciate it, but no, thank you. See, these people just don't understand. But I understand. I've rapped on long enough. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I hope we'll probably do more of these. But until then, I will see you guys later. Peace out.